Hello, welcome to a lovely weekly update of the stock market. What happened this week in the market? Well, let's take a look, starting with the Dow Jones. Got a little something different for you later coming up as well. But we're going to start, as we usually do, looking at the Dow Jones. Look at this 5-day chart. Overall, very impressed with how things went. I'm very impressed with this 5-day up 0.66%. Very impressed with that for many reasons. We'll get into that, but overall, with everything that happened, very impressed that we had a positive week, and it was a pretty decent positive week, 2.66%. Not upset with that. Let's look at the S&P 500. We're gonna go ahead and take a little peek-sies at the S&P 500, and you see this guy was up 0.94 actually. Yikes! Very nice. That is very, very nice. I like that a lot. Now we're going to look at the NASDAQ. Well, we're zooming through it. We're zooming through it like we usually do. There we go. Actually, putting up a 1.75. Well, that's right, 1.75% increase on the week. Tech did very well this week for a multitude of reasons. Nothing too absurd, but very nice for the NASDAQ, obviously. Already up 2.3% year to date. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Let's go. That's all I can tell you. I'm excited about what we got going on here. What do we have for what's new this week? Well, guess what? We're going to take a look at some of these stocks that are at their 52-week lows, because in such a bull market, if you're at your 52-week low, is there a chance for a comeback? Potentially. Let's take a look at these, see if anything of these could be potentially decent. So this is going to go off of how far they are off their lows there, really. But so you have here Aurora Cannabis, that's right, one of the hype weed stocks. This thing's down 84% from its 52-week high. Yikes. That's very wild. That's wild stuff. So right now it's sitting at $1.65 per share. Really crazy stuff. Allied Esports Entertainment. Interested to see what they've got going on, but they're obviously 78.72% away from their 52-week high. I'd like to see what that company's all about, just because obviously esports is going to come to a point in the next 10 years, where it's going to be potentially the main form of entertainment for people. If this is, 20 years down the line at least, this could be the main form of entertainment people watch for quote-unquote sports news. It's not sports, but, whatever you want to call it. It's entertainment, I guess, for people. So, we have Acadia Realty Trust, 15.7% off its 52-week high. Nothing absurd there. I love me some real estate investment trust, so I'll definitely take a look at that guy. See what it's doing. See if I could maybe get some sweet dividends for it. Astronova down 52% from its 52-week high. Yikes. 13.33 cents per share. Amber Superconductor down 55.96%. Superconductor stocks, those things have been slightly hammered. They just keep going up and down. It's pretty rough for them. Blue Apron, a very rough IPO. Just down. Blue Apron, I don't know if it's necessarily a good purchase unless they potentially get bought out. I would stay away from Blue Apron for the meantime, because they lose a lot of money. We have Bruge Holdings, down 37.14% from that. What else we have that's a pretty decent stock? I'm going to take a look, see what I think is something that looks pretty okay. A lot of these aren't really anything I would personally play around with so far, just looking at them. Sprint, obviously piece of garbage, down 40%. Definitely stay away from Sprint. Sorry, Sprint, not messing with you. Honestly, just looking at these, I really don't necessarily see anything that I find that interesting that I want to get involved with. Potentially Allied Esports, maybe we'll take a look at that. Aurora Cannabis, you never know how they're going to do. But other than that, nothing super exciting here. Besides maybe if Acadia Realty Trust is offering some good dividends potentially, we'll take a look at that. Real quick, actually, let me just pull up. Them, see what they're offering in terms of a yield, somewhere around 4 to 5%. Okay, not a great super mega yield, but company's down. Maybe there's some even potential value for the future in terms of just share price, increases. But other than that, we have some news for the week. Obviously, we had originally a drone strike on one of the top Iranian generals, and Iran retaliated by bombing one of our bases in Iraq, one of the United States Air Force bases in Iraq. And obviously my big fear was that we were going to respond with force right away. I'm not saying we won't necessarily respond with force at some time, but I appreciate that we went the route of sanctions. So the fact that we did that, I mean, whenever that base got bombed, I mean, that went down at least 2%, 2-3% in after hours trading. But then, since the response from Mr. Donald came that next morning, luckily that next morning instead of that evening, if he had made a comment that evening, I had a bad feeling that he was going to say some stuff, a little bit heated, which is certainly understandable, but he took some time to think about it. His press secretary probably told him, "You're not going out there talking right now," and had him delay it and wait until the next morning. So that's a very fantastic thing. And then we went the route of sanctions. So we went the route of lovely sanctions instead of the route of absolute war. So that's very good. Very good. So that's why the stock market continued to go up. And now we're kind of at a moment of tension, but we'll see. I think this how this Iran-U.S. conflict happens is going to be pretty important for the future of the market this year, because of the fact that I think Iran might not let up, and I think there's a chance we have to step in more. I don't want it to be that way, but I think there's a chance it might happen. Depends on how Iran's looking at it. But yeah, they've already, done enough, so hopefully we just end it there. Sanctions, we're good. We also went ahead and got a nice little jobs report yesterday. By nice little jobs report, I mean, I'm just kidding. It wasn't that nice of a jobs report. So, 145,000 jobs added versus 164,000 of the consensus, and 256,000 previously last month. So the unemployment rate still changed, though, unchanged at 3.5%. Still ridiculously just record lows. Average hourly earnings rose 2.9% year over year. Love that. That's good stuff. What do you expect if you raise hourly rates? It's going to get rough here for increasing payroll. It's hard to increase jobs if you're offering more dollars per hour. That's just kind of how business works. So maybe we'll see that and people will understand it. So nothing absurd here. Just a pretty decent jobs report. That's all I could really tell you. That's all I could tell you again. I mean, decent jobs report, nothing upsetting. That's all we really got for news this week. So next week, it'll be interesting to see what happens. What shapes the market is really going to be about some trade tensions. Obviously, next week we're supposed to have Donald Trump signing the stage 1 of the U.S.-China trade deal. We'll see if that happens and see what the steps are after that. So, all right, hope you enjoyed.